Hey folks, Dr. Joe Esposito here. So glad you could join us this morning. Hope everybody's happy. Everybody awake? Out of bed? Maybe you're not out of bed. Maybe you're still laying in bed. That's true. I'm Dr. Joe Esposito. My background is I'm board certified in chiropractic. I'm board certified in orthopedics. I'm board certified in pain management. I am a nutritionist, and I have one very simple goal. And that simple goal is to naturally get you well and keep you well. Now that's a kind of simple goal, but it can be a little complicated for most folks because everyone thinks that health is some type of mystery, that it's for somebody else but not for me. Yeah, there's another quote for a song there. But health is easy to obtain. We work real hard getting ourselves sick. I know that sounds so terrible. We work hard getting ourselves sick. And the reason is we fall into so many advertising lies. The goal of advertising is to what? Get you to buy something. So I want you to think for a second. While you're listening to this show today, what's your goal? I'm assuming you're listening because your goal is to get well and stay well naturally, which is what my goal is too. But I couldn't imagine why you'd be listening to this show if that wasn't your goal. We're going to give you a lot of good tips today, and today's kind of interesting. We're going to talk about advertising myths and food myths. It's hard to say, food myths. Food myths. And some of the things that we've bought into, and some of the things I've bought into over the years that we thought were good for us when it turns out they really weren't. And the sad part is that the manufacturers know if the product is good or not. But depending how we spin it will determine if we buy it or not. I'm certainly not going to go out there and say, folks, I have this soup here and it has autolyzed yeast in it. Autolyzed yeast is a form of monosodium glutamate, and monosodium glutamate is an excitotoxin, can actually burn out my brain cells. If I made a soup, would I advertise it that way? No. I would say it has natural vegetables in it and broth, and it tastes great. Kids love it. How about some other phrases? Join with me. Anytime you can think of any other cool phrases that people have used over the time to get you to buy something. I was in a health food store the other day, and I picked up a can of soup, and it was Wolfgang Puck. And it was organic and it looked healthy, vegetable. And sure enough, it had a form of monosodium glutamate in it. I was devastated. This health food store is carrying a product that has monosodium glutamate in it. So I went up to the manager, and I said, why are you carrying this product? And they said, well, customers demand it. Well, if you didn't carry it, wouldn't they buy something else? That was my thought. But we're going to talk about food myths today. But my ultimate goal is I want you to think why you're listening today. And if you're listening to get healthy, I want to make sure you understand the 3 things you have to have in order to be healthy. Number 1, say it with me, normally functioning nervous system. This is the key to everything. We got a lot of fun stuff today. I'm going to hopefully make you laugh a little bit today. There's a lot of good stuff we're going to talk about, but the nervous system controls everything. And you can do all these other tips I'm going to give you. But you have to have the nervous system working. That's why, as a chiropractor, I'm going to invite you to come into my office, and we're going to check your nervous system to make sure it's functioning properly. Number 2 is we have to have a normally functioning digestive system. You have to be able to absorb your nutrients and pass out your waste products. How many people have digestive problems? All of you. I don't know of anyone in the history of the world that's ever gone through a life without having some type of digestive problem. Gas, bloating, diarrhea, constipation, cramping, pain in the stomach, acid reflux, gastroesophageal reflux disease. We've all had it. And that's a sign that something's wrong. Again, think of the miracle that you can eat a carrot and it becomes liver tissue. You can eat a hamburger and it becomes toenails. How your body can assemble these molecules in such a way that it can actually become a totally different part of a living being, even though what you're eating is dead. Pretty amazing, huh? And that's my goal, is to get the nervous system working so the nervous system can allow all those transformations to occur. So you have to have a normally functioning nervous system, normally functioning digestive system, and of course we're going to talk about good nutrition. Now, if you'd like to make an appointment at my office, let's get this out of the way real quick. My number is 770-427-7387. Folks, we can only take the first 10 callers. So the reason I want you to know that is we're going to give you a lot of good information, but I want you to call right now. And the reason we only take the first 10 callers is because we don't want to overbook our patients. How many of us have ever been to the doctor's office and it was overbooked? All of us? And you sit there and you think, I have a 2 o'clock appointment. It's now 4:30. It is extremely rare in my office that someone has to wait to be seen by one of the doctors. And all of you that call in, by the way, will have their first appointment absolutely positively with me. Some people like the other doctors and they go see the other doctors. But my number, 770-427-7387. You and I are going to sit down and we're going to find out what is your health goal. What is it that's going to make you better? Is it back pain, neck pain, shoulder pain, arm pain, hand pain, wrist pain, digestive problems, nutrition issues? I want to sit down with you one-on-one. And please, folks, bring your family and friends and bring your kids. Kids need to stay healthy. And our environment with toxic waste products all over the place, kids being stuck inside, video games, radiation coming out of computers, eating foods that are loaded with steroids, chemicals, hormones, antibiotics, heavy metals, mercury, carcinogenics. Kids need a head start. Much more than we did. I'm 47, so I'm assuming a lot of you folks listening are adults. So you need a start, folks. You got to give those kids a start. And I want to be the person to help coach you through that. 770-427-7387. We're going to do an examination, consultation. We'll take x-rays if we need to. We'll go over the x-rays with you, show you everything that we found, lay out a treatment plan. Cost for all of that is only $50. If further care is necessary, I want to make sure you're prepared to hear that. And if you're serious about wanting to get well, we'll do the exam, x-rays, consultation, complete report, $50. Further care necessary, we'll file your insurance for you. We do that. We accept Medicare. We have cash programs available. Believe me, even in tough economic times, you can afford to be here. 770-427-7387. Call right now. If nobody answers, leave a message. I know sometimes folks listen to the show at different times. Call right now. Our office, that's what I forgot to tell you, our office is in Marietta, Georgia. I know a lot of you listen around the world, and you're thinking, well, where are you? I want to come see you. We're in Marietta, Georgia, just northwest of Atlanta. Easy access from anywhere in the southeast. 770-427-7387. Okay, let's talk about some food myths. Because, I'm going to try to say this, myths myth me. How about that? I get miffed off when I hear about these things on TV, and every day this happens, and I read articles, and they have these nutrition experts on the morning shows. Hi, this is such and such, and this person is a nutrition expert. Hey, let's talk about how to healthy grill hamburgers. There is no way to healthy grill a hamburger. There are two words in there that are not healthy, grill and hamburger. We know that if we grill something, especially under charcoal, carcinogenic chemicals are being exposed onto the food. And if you get those little grill marks, that little caramelization, that grill taste, those are heterocyclic amines. Heterocyclic amines are carcinogenic. Those are the chemicals that are formed when you char something. So that's one of the big myths. So let's talk about a few more here. People say, well, Doc, what can I eat to help burn fat? Are there any foods that help burn fat? Oh, the answer is no. You may have heard that like chewing celery burns up more calories than it contains. Yeah, but if you chew nonstop for an hour, how many calories are you going to burn up? Any idea? About 11. So eating celery is a good choice. Eating cucumbers are a good choice. Eating lettuce is a good choice. For not so much that they're going to actually burn calories, but number one, you're going to fill up yourself with good healthy foods, which are loaded with vitamins, minerals, and nutrients. And number two, because you're full, you're not going to eat the bad foods. Remember, when you're hungry, you're not hungry for food. You're hungry for nutrition. And so if we eat the foods that are nutritious, if we eat the foods that are loaded with vitamins, minerals, and nutrients, chances are we're not going to be eating the other foods. I want you to consider that. Because when you're hungry for nutrition. So the more nutritious your diet is, the less likely you are to have cravings. There are those select few people that say they never crave anything. I'm not one of them. I crave sugar. I crave chocolate. You like chocolate? I like chocolate. Now, this is the heart month, right? Everyone talks about their heart and love and Valentine's Day. Chocolate has a chemical in it called phenylethylamines, PEAs. Phenylethylamines are chemicals that are released in your brain when you're in love. Isn't that nice? We've talked about this a few times. We always get new listeners, so I like to discuss these important facts. So phenylethylamines are released when you're in love, and you get very happy, and you get silly and giddy, and you think about that person day and night. Some of you may be in that stage right now. Some of you may be out of that stage, because it lasts about 6 months. And after 6 months, the phenylethylamines we find start to fade. This is why there are some people that we call them serial monogamists. They go from one serious relationship to another serious relationship to another serious relationship, and it only lasts a few months. And one of the reasons we believe, we the scientific world, me being part of that scientific world, we believe that they release the phenylethylamines and they enjoy that pleasurable feeling. As soon as those pleasurable feelings wear off, you look at that person for who they really are and you go, I can't put up with this. This is insane. She picks her nose. He leaves the toothpaste off the toothpaste cap. He's always late. She talks badly about her friends. And all those things were there when you first met that person. Of course they were. Well, sometimes people hide those things. But once the phenylethylamines wear off, our relationships change. So, chocolate is the food of love because it makes us feel like we are in love. Now, if you're going to eat chocolate, be careful. Most chocolate is bad. If you're going to eat chocolate, small amounts of organic dark chocolate. When I say small amounts, about the size of your thumb. That's a small amount. And that will release the phenylethylamines into your brain. Now, problem with that is once you start eating it, it does have chemicals like caffeine, bromine, theobromine, isotheobromines, phyllenes. These are all chemicals that can be found in caffeine-containing foods. You may get hooked on the caffeine and these other chemicals, which are stimulants. And as you try to come off them, you may get a headache, or you may get tired, or you may have cravings. So be careful with that. So, back to where we were. Certain foods to burn fat. There are no certain foods to burn fat, but we have to eat the proper amount of foods with the proper amount of calories. Studies have shown that the less we eat, the longer, statistically speaking, we're going to live. To a point, of course. Isn't that interesting? So a calorie-restricted diet is a good thing, but what's a calorie-restricted diet? That only leaves you really healthy foods. Fruits, vegetables, certain grains, nuts and seeds. Now, nuts and seeds can be a little high in calories, too. But fruits and vegetables are great. People go on a grapefruit diet. I'm going on a grapefruit diet. Folks, diets don't work. If diets worked, there'd be no fat people in the whole world. Because I don't know of any fat person, myself included, I used to be fat when I was a kid. I don't know of any fat person that hasn't been on a diet. And if it worked, they would not be fat anymore. So don't buy into these falsehoods and, oh, I'm going to go on this diet or that diet. You just have to eat the proper foods in the proper proportions, even at the proper time. If we have time, we'll talk about that. So don't be fooled by, oh, gosh, certain foods can help burn fat. And then people say, well, Dr. Joe, I understand that I should be eating 6 meals a day. Is that true? I don't know. Everyone's different. I do okay with 3 meals a day. But people eat breakfast, snack, lunch, snack, dinner, snack. It really depends on your total intake. How much food are you going to put into your body? If you're going to put 5,000, 10,000 calories into your body, and you're not Mr. Phelps, the Olympic swimmer, well, then you're probably going to gain weight. So you have to figure out what works for you. Now, certain foods I can eat and that holds me over for a long period of time. I don't get hungry. My blood sugar stays stable. What would that be? Oatmeal. If I eat oatmeal, oatmeal's high in soluble and non-soluble fibers. It slowly pushes the food through your colon and gives you a slow release of energy. And as you get that slow release of energy, you stay full, you feel full, you're getting your nutrients, stabilizes your blood sugar, and you feel good. If I eat something like just fruit, then I'm going to need a snack. Probably a few hours later. Because fruit's out of your stomach in about 45 minutes to an hour. So oatmeal, ground flax seeds will hold me over. You have cravings, folks? Have yourself a bowl of oatmeal or add some ground flax seeds to the oatmeal. And eat that. You know what? Cravings go away. You feel full, stabilizes your blood sugar, you feel good. So there are tricks that we can do. So 6 meals versus 3 meals a day. It depends what works for you, and it also depends what food you're eating. If you're going to eat something that's a heavy protein, let's assume you're going to have a hamburger. Don't, but if you do, okay. Or you're going to have chicken, some animal protein with fat in it. That's going to hold you over for a relatively long period of time because it's very slow to digest. I was given a food demo the other day. Oh, by the way, folks, if you go to my website, drjoeesposito.com, click on Dr. Joe's lecture schedule. And I have my schedule of lectures and food demonstrations that we do there. And we'd love for you to come out. In fact, February 10th, from 11 to 12, I'm going to be at the Atlanta Fulton County Library downtown. And we're doing a series of lectures every Tuesday on heart health. And we'd love for you to come out. It's free. You can go to my website and get some more information on that. And then on February 10th at 6 o'clock, I'm going to be at Life Grocery, and we're doing a food demonstration. So we're going to cook for you on heart-healthy foods. Now you're thinking, well, I don't have a heart problem. This is why you need to come, so you don't get a heart problem. If you do have a heart problem, you need to be there anyway. So go to my website, drjoeesposito.com. Click up there, and you're going to get some information. We were doing a food demo the other day, and someone said, well, what about fresh vegetables versus frozen vegetables? Now, this is interesting. The concept of flash freezing vegetables came from Clarence Birdseye. You've probably heard the brand name Birdseye. And what happens with fresh vegetables when they're frozen is they're picked fresh when they're ripe, so they have a lot of flavor. And they're frozen within sometimes minutes, relatively speaking, minutes of when they're picked right at the farm. So a lot of the nutrients are frozen into the fruits and vegetables. So I don't have a problem eating frozen fruits or vegetables, especially if they're organic. They say, well, organic's more expensive, Dr. Joe. I tell you what, a pound of organic frozen broccoli is a whole lot cheaper than a pound of hamburger. And you can make some amazing meals, really good meals, with frozen vegetables. My freezer's full of frozen vegetables. My daughter likes broccoli. So, you have to have a vegetable today. What do you want? You want a carrot? Sometimes give her an apple. Have to give her something, a fruit or a vegetable at every meal. I want broccoli. Great. Take out a bag, warm it up, boom, you got broccoli. And she'll eat it. And that's what's neat is, if you have these foods in the house, what are you going to do with them? You're going to eat them. If you have bad foods in the house, what are you going to do with them? You're going to eat them. You're no different than me. You're no different than anybody else. If there's bad foods in the house, I'm going to eat them. Now, I say that. I have to take that back. I'm sure there's some of you listening that say, well, Dr. Joe, I could have a piece of cake in the house for years, and I won't eat it. I could have cookies in the house. I don't eat them. Well, you're a better man than I. Because if they're in the house, chances are I'm going to eat them. That's why I don't have them in the house. So the fresh produce that you buy in the store may not have as many nutrients as a frozen. Because you got to think, is it local? So if you have the opportunity, and with spring coming, we're going to have that opportunity. Some great farmers markets, by the way, if you're in the Atlanta area, folks. There's one in Marietta by Marietta Square, and the farmers come down and sell directly. I know there's one down in Virginia Highlands in Atlanta. So there's a lot of neat farmers markets that happen usually on the weekends. Life University in Marietta, right next to my office, they used to have one. I'm not sure if they're going to have it again this year. But the farmers come down and they sell their produce right to you. So it's picked fresh, and it has to be eaten quickly because it'll go bad. And that's another myth that I want to discuss with you too, is that food should have a long shelf life. Food should not have a long shelf life, especially fruits and vegetables. They should go bad quickly. And this fascinates me. Remember when you were a kid, well, assuming you're my age, and you'd buy a tomato and it would go rotten? And now you buy a tomato from the grocery store, it can sit on your counter for weeks. Doesn't go bad. Potatoes. Remember potatoes used to grow eyes? Remember that? Buy a potato now in the grocery store. Does it grow eyes anymore? Very seldom. Remember milk had, oh gosh, what was that thing milk used to have? Flavor. Oh, that's right. It used to have flavor. Milk used to taste good. Now, I don't drink milk. I don't suggest you drink milk. But I remember being a kid, you drink the milk, and it had cream on the top. Remember the milkman would come? Every morning, it's 4 o'clock in the morning, you hit the milk bottle clanging together, and the milk would have cream on the top. You have to drink it pretty quickly because it would go bad. And it had flavor, and it had cream in it. Now milk can last, I don't know, forever. I say that jokingly, of course. But it doesn't have flavor. It tastes like water. Because we've pasteurized it, homogenized it. The cows don't eat grass anymore. The cows now eat corn. Cows are not designed to eat corn. They eat soybeans. Cows are not designed to eat soybeans in nature. They're designed to eat grass. I can even remember being a kid and drinking farm fresh milk, and it had flavor like it would taste like onions. Right? If the cow ate scallions, it tasted like onions. If the cow ate clover, it tasted like clover. Don't have that anymore. And because of that, we've lost a lot of nutrients. And we've lost a lot of joy in cooking and food, too. I just enjoy eating foods. Now I have to, create my own foods because I don't know many places that I can get foods that I like. So the fresh versus frozen. Now, if you freeze the food, you lose some of the texture. And so that's one of the downsides of it. Now, a lot of frozen foods will contain things like sugar, salt, fat, things like this. So read the ingredients. That's why I try to get organic, plain fruits or vegetables. And when you pick up the bag, the fruit should be separated. It shouldn't be clumped together. If it's clumped together, that probably means it was defrosted and then frozen again. So fresh fruits and frozen fruits, they both have their benefits. But depending where the fresh fruit comes from, or the fresh vegetables, will depend how much nutrients they have. If it's shipped all the way from Chile or Argentina, chances are it's not going to be that good. And one way to tell is the flavor. If it tastes good, it's probably okay. Everyone asks me this when I do a lecture. Well, Dr. Joe, I talk about coffee, and coffee has all these chemicals in it, and coffee has more synthetic pesticides than any other food on the market except for cigarettes. Coffee has more synthetic pesticides than any other food on the market except cigarettes. One study I read said that a cup of regular coffee has more synthetic pesticides in it than if you eat non-organic fruits and vegetables for an entire year. Wow! That's a lot of pesticides. People say, well, Dr. Joe, I don't drink regular coffee. I drink, say it with me, come on, decaf. Well, decaf doesn't have no caffeine. It has less caffeine. And I learned this. I was giving a lecture one time down in Florida. It was a big group, a couple of thousand people. And this one guy comes up to me, hands me his card. He says, I work for the coffee industry. And I heard you ragging on coffee. And I said, uh-oh, here it comes. I'm going to get beat up. He says, let me explain something to you. He says, the way we make decaffeinated coffee is we take the caffeine out of the coffee and then we add it back in. Because if we took all the caffeine out of the coffee, it would have no flavor. So decaffeinated coffee has less caffeine, but it doesn't have no caffeine. Plus it has all the the pesticides in it. Wow, that's not good stuff, is it? So what can we do? Well, why do you drink coffee? Some people, I like the flavor. Well, then there's a product called Teechino, Teechino. And Teechino is kind of like a sort of, almost like a coffee. Does it taste like coffee? Sort of. You can add non-dairy creamers. They have a soy creamer that's pretty good. I think Silk puts it out. It's a soy creamer. It has a lot of sugar in it, but it tastes pretty good. You could do it that way. Or if you're drinking coffee for energy. How many people drink coffee because they fall asleep otherwise? A lot of folks. One study I read said the second largest import into the United States next to oil is what? Coffee. Wow. I'm amazed how many people drink coffee. Now, I don't drink coffee. So I live in this little world, and I come to work, and patients come in carrying coffee. I'll drive past these fast food places. People lined up to get their coffee. Fascinates me how many people drink coffee, and I bet you most of you listening right now drink coffee. Let's try this. Instead of coffee, let's try some B vitamins. Get yourself a multi-B vitamin. Okay, or B complex, I guess is the right word for it. They have liquid ones. Kids can drink it. They're kind of sweet. Okay, Berry Treasure is one brand that comes to mind. Try taking B vitamins instead of coffee and watch how much energy you have. Try drinking water. There's an idea. We're all dehydrated. Drink more water. Water is going to give you energy. If I start feeling tired, usually around 10, 11 o'clock, I'll think, I forgot to drink my water this morning. I'll go out to my office here. In my office, I have a reverse osmosis filter. I'll drink a big cup of water. Within 10 or 15 minutes, boom, I'm revitalized again. It's like watering a plant and watch it just flower again. So water is going to give you energy too. So one of the myths that is that coffee gives you energy, coffee actually robs your body of energy. If you're just joining us, I'm Dr. Joe Esposito. Glad you could be here. I'm a chiropractor. I'm not a medical doctor. I'm a nutrition expert. I'm board certified in pain management. I'm also board certified in non-surgical orthopedics. Been in practice almost 25 years now. And my goal is to naturally get you well and keep you well. And I'd like to give you these little tips. But the most important tip I can give you, absolutely, positively, is the nervous system controls everything. And if you have a pinched nerve, you can have a problem. Now, if you have a pinched nerve, how many people think it hurts? Yeah, most of us. However, up to 97% of your nerves don't feel pain. You don't feel your heartbeat. It's controlled by a nerve. You don't feel your lungs breathe. You don't feel your adrenal glands produce adrenaline and cortisol and DHEA and stabilize your blood pressure. You don't feel blood pressure. How many people have high blood pressure? Doesn't hurt, does it? How many have diabetes? Doesn't hurt, does it? So my concern when it comes to patients is not only the nerves that feel pain, it's also the nerves that don't feel pain. So the approach that I take when a patient comes into my office, and I'm going to invite each and every one of you to come into my office, we're in Marietta, Georgia, is analyze the nervous system. See if there's any pinched nerves. Take an x-ray. Is there arthritis? Are the bones worn out? Are they moved out of place pinching the nerves? Is there pressure on the spinal cord? And if there is, what can we do to relieve that pressure? What can we do to relieve your pain? I asked at the beginning of the show, why are you listening to this show? And I'm assuming that you're listening because you want to get healthy. And the number one thing you can do, the most important step you can take to get healthy, is get the nervous system working. So if you have pain, back pain, neck pain, shoulder pain, arm pain, leg pain, numbness, cold hands, cold feet, tingling, these are all signs that the nervous system is being interfered with. And the primary thing you can do, ahead of exercise, ahead of eating right, ahead of colon therapy, ahead of meditation, ahead of everything, is the nervous system has to be working properly. If you have a pinched nerve, something's wrong. And I want you to call my office right now. My number is 770-427-7387. 770-427-7387. We're open late every night. We're open on Saturdays. We want to set you up an appointment so we can do an examination, consultation, take x-rays, go over the x-rays with you. The cost for all of that is only $50. But don't call if you're not prepared to do something about your problem if we do find it. Okay? I don't want shoppers. I don't want people. It's a lot of time we're going to spend together, folks. You and I, Dr. Bob, my staff, we're going to spend a lot of time together when you come in. This is not a rush in and out appointment. This is a serious appointment to evaluate the level of your health. And if we do find something wrong, I want you to be ready to say, yes, I want to get this thing fixed. I can't imagine having a healthcare problem and not getting it fixed. That is beyond my wildest dreams. Day before Christmas, my car started making noise. And I was going to drive to the airport. I'm going to go see my mom, take my daughter with me up in New Jersey. And my car started making noise, and the engine was shaking. So I had to call the dealership to get my car fixed. Went to the dealership. No dinner, no dancing. I just felt like I was being abused. We'll fix it right away, sir. Here's a rent-a-car. Great, thank you. The price was outrageous. Insane how much they charged. And I'm thinking, I went to school for 12 years. I have 25 years of practice behind me. But you know what? My car had to be fixed. And I did whatever it took to get my car fixed. And yet people don't think about their own bodies that way. Right now, if the transmission fell out of your car, you would get it fixed, I promise. I had to get my car fixed. I needed my car to go to the airport. And yet when our body is screaming, I've got digestive problems, I've got neck pain, back pain, shoulder pain, we seem to ignore it. I don't know how to get my message across to you how serious it is to have the nervous system fixed as quickly as possible. Because if a bone is out of alignment and that's what's causing your pain, eventually that area of the bone is going to wear out. And then you get arthritis, and then it becomes permanent. So call my office right now, 770-427-7387. Go to my website, drjoeesposito.com. But think about it. Why are you listening? You're listening to get well. And if you have a health problem, hopefully we have the answer for you. 770-427-7387. Call right now. If nobody answers, leave a message. We can only take the first 10 callers because we don't overbook our patients. We want to make sure that we have time to spend with you. And then if further care is necessary, if you have insurance, we file insurance. We accept Medicare. If you don't have insurance, that's okay too. We understand that with this economic situation that we're in, some people don't have insurance. We'll work with that. I promise. Give us the opportunity to prove what we're doing may be helpful to you. 770-427-7387. Again, February 10th from 11 to 12, I'm going to be at the Atlanta Fulton County Library doing a series on Tuesdays. It'll be several Tuesdays in a row on heart. This one is going to be cholesterol and blood pressure issues. And then 6 o'clock the same day, February 10th, Life Grocery, Heart Healthy Diet. We're going to prepare food for you that's actually healthy for you. And both of those are no charge. Go to my website, drjoeesposito.com, and you get the information on that. So what we're talking about today is food myths. Things that you might think are good and they're not. And the thing that got me, really smacked me in the head, was I remember years ago, not too many years ago, maybe 15 years ago or so, I didn't know that hydrolyzed vegetable protein can have a reaction of monosodium glutamate. Because when you hydrolyze the vegetable protein, glutamic acid is freed up. Glutamic acid is the bad part of monosodium glutamate. There's a little chemistry there for you. And I would see it in products. Autolyzed yeast, hydrolyzed vegetable protein. Well, let me see. Vegetables are good. Protein is good. I don't know what autolyzed is or hydrolyzed, but okay, I guess that's good. Vegetable protein. I like that. And we know that monosodium glutamate and aspartic acid, phenylalanine and methyl esters, which is the chemical name for what? artificial sweeteners. These things are bad for our brain. Why do you think that Coke and Pepsi have come out with these products now using stevia as a sweetener? Have you seen this? Truvia is one of the brand names. Why do you think somebody as big as Coke and Pepsi would abandon aspartame and sucralose, start to abandon it, and go toward a natural sweetener? Why do you think they do that? They did it because the threat of lawsuits is insane out there. Because now the research that we knew for years about artificial sweetener, about aspartame, about sucralose, we've known this for years, is now going to the public. And the public is saying, I don't want that. I'm not going to eat those poisons. You better offer me something healthy or I'm going to go somewhere else. And so Coke and Pepsi responded by now having stevia sweetened. First they're coming out with the stevia sweeteners packages, and then they're also rolling it out into their soft drinks. Wow. Pretty cool stuff. So the myth that artificial sweetener was good for you, the myth that artificial sweetener helps you lose weight, the myth that artificial sweetener was good for diabetics is now crumbling. And that's neat. That's exciting because I talked about this stuff 15 years ago, 20 years ago. 20 years ago, 25 years ago, I was talking about how dangerous margarine was. Because margarine is a hydrogenated oil. And when you hydrogenate an oil, it can affect your cholesterol levels in a very adverse way. But back then, people were saying, well, butter is a saturated fat and that's bad for you, so you should eat margarine. And I remember thinking, no, no, no. And now what happens? Saturated fats are bad. Hydrogenated oils are bad. Dr. Joe was right. I love the Dr. Joe was right column. We get a lot of check marks in the Dr. Joe was right column. So margarine is better than butter. Very, very false. Now, butter contains saturated fat. That can raise your low-density lipoproteins or your bad cholesterol. And that can increase your risk of heart disease. We know that. But what happens is a lot of people said, well, I'm going to use margarine because it doesn't have those saturated fats in it. But because of the hydrogenated oils, it's bad. Now, what can we do about that? I like butter. Okay, confession time. Bless me, listeners, for I have sinned. I like butter. Haven't had it in 24 years, and I still like it. And for years, I thought, well, I'm never going to have butter again. Then companies started coming out to meet the need of people like me. There's a great product out there called Earth Balance. Anybody ever use Earth Balance? I like Earth Balance. Earth Balance is yummy. Have it in my refrigerator right now. And you can get it a lot of places. Life Grocery in Marietta, Harry's, Whole Foods, Return to Eden, 7 Onda down in Little 5 Points. There's a lot of good health food stores that carry these products. And what's nice is even the grocery stores now carry it. I saw it in Kroger the other day. Okay, so you can buy these products in stores. It tastes just like butter. No saturated fat. No trans fatty acids. No hydrogenation. Wow. Technology has come up with something that's good. I read a study the other day that people are living longer. One of the reasons we feel they're living longer is because the air is not as polluted as it used to be 10, 15, 20 years ago. So maybe we're going full circle, where this technology was solving all the world's problems and creating more problems. Maybe we're going back to the basics. And when we go back to the basics, that's when I'm excited. Because the basis of health always has been and always will be a normally functioning nervous system. And the more natural we become, the more my services become in demand. Because people get it. So you mean if I have a pinched nerve, that can be causing headaches, neck pain, back pain, shoulder pain, arm pain, hand pain, maybe blurred vision, dizziness, loss of memory, fatigue, ringing in the ears, or sinus congestion? Yes. The upper part of the neck. It's a nerve to the brain, eyes, ears, and sinuses. Every day when I go over x-rays with a patient, I put up their x-ray and I say, look, here's your pinched nerve. You can see the bone out of place. And they go, and I talk about what organs are controlled by that nerve. And inevitably, the patient looks at me and says, wow, Dr. Joe, that's pretty cool, because those are my symptoms. You mean to tell me my headaches can be being caused by a pinched nerve? Yeah. And your headache is not being caused by a deficiency of medication? He said jokingly. Yes. You don't get a headache from lack of aspirin. That doesn't cause headaches. You get a headache because something's wrong, and the pain is telling you that we've got to fix it. In the low back, that's the nerve to the colon, sex organs, and bladder, as well as the back, hips, and legs. So anything from your belt line down can be caused by a pinched nerve in the low back. Gas, bloating, diarrhea, constipation, urinary problems, impotence, sterility. People don't talk about these things. Doc, I'm impotent and I got gas. Ha ha ha. I talk about it with my friends. No, you don't. But when you come into the office, and patients don't tell me most of their problems. Well, I got back pain, I got neck pain. Anything else? Nope, nothing else. And then I go over their x-ray. I say, this nerve right here, this is the nerve that goes to your adrenal glands. Your adrenal glands control your blood pressure, give you energy, and release stress hormones called cortisol. Oh, wow, doc, that's interesting because I had my blood work done. I do have a cortisol issue. Or, I am tired all the time. Or, oh, my gosh, maybe that is why I'm having the blood pressure issues. I don't treat blood pressure. I don't treat cortisol. I treat the nervous system, get the nervous system working so that the body is capable of functioning normally again. That's neat stuff. That's exciting. So again, I ask the same question. Why are you listening to this show? Whether it's on the internet, whether it's overseas, whether it's locally. Why are you listening to this show? The reason you're listening is because you want to learn how to be healthy. And the number one thing you can do to make everything else work better is to get the nervous system fixed. Again, my number is 770-427-7387. We're open late every night. We're open on Saturdays. Give us a call. Let's get you set up as soon as possible. We can only take the first 10 callers. Is it urgent? Yes. If you have back pain, neck pain, or health issues, it's urgent. If your engine is vibrating in your car and you're having trouble steering, is it urgent? Yeah. What do? You pull over and get it fixed. And yet with our bodies, we just cover it up. It's like turning the radio up in your car so you don't hear the noise in your engine. Does it fix the problem with the engine? No. You don't hear it anymore. And many times that's what we do. We cover up our problems with either medication or ice or just ignore it. How many of you do that? Ignore your problems. I hear that all the time too. Well, Doc, I've had this forever. What do you do with it? Nothing. Learn to live with it. I've gotten tough. Ha ha ha. Look how tough I am. I don't want you to get tough. I want you to fix the problem. 770-427-7387. Give us a call right now. If nobody answers, leave a message. We'll set you up a time as soon as possible to come on back in. Another myth that came up this week. Patients came to me and said, Dr. Joe, trying to lose weight. How many people want to do that? Yeah, a lot of you. 65% of you, as a matter of fact. It's amazing how many people are overweight. Like I said, I used to be overweight. Folks, I understand what it's like to be a food addict. I understand what it's like to not be able to eat a cookie. I can eat a box of cookies, but I can't eat a cookie. I understand what it's like to eat a pint of ice cream. Not a scoop of ice cream, a pint of ice cream. I can do that. I'm real good at a pint of ice cream. I'm not real good at a scoop of ice cream, though. I'm not good at a bite of cake. I can eat a whole piece, maybe two, but I can't eat a bite of cake. So I know what it's like. I have the mind of a food addict, like most of us do. And so you just have to deal with it. You have to understand this is what I am. Don't raise your hand. How many people are alcoholics? What's the rule? You can't have a drink, can you? No, you're not allowed to have a drink. Because if you do, you're off the wagon. Most food addicts are like that too. If I have a cookie, I'm off the wagon. So you have to say, you know what, I don't eat cookies anymore. But I like cookies. Anybody listening in a wheelchair? My heart goes out to you, first of all. My dad was handicapped, and I understand what it's like to have those issues. How many of you would like to walk? If you're in a wheelchair right now, how many would like to get up and walk? A lot of you, right? I'm going to guess all of you. Can you do it? Probably not. So how many of you like to eat a cookie or a box of cookies? Can you do it? You probably can, but you shouldn't. You get it? If you're a food addict, you have an issue, and you have to deal with that issue. If you want to get healthy. If you don't want to get healthy, that's okay too. So somebody said, let me get off my soapbox here for a second. And a patient said, well, Dr. Joe, I want to eat right. We got to eat more fruits and vegetables. Oh, well, Doc, I hear fruits are fattening, especially bananas. I hear bananas are fattening. Are bananas fattening? Well, banana might have about 100, 110 calories in it. Is that a lot? But you know what? You'd have to eat 6 bananas to equal 1 slice of pizza. How's that for an analogy? How many of you would like to eat 6 bananas right now? I don't even want to eat 6 bananas, and I like bananas. To equal 1 slice of pizza. That's incredible. Bananas are loaded with fiber, magnesium, potassium. They can help manage your blood pressure. They're a great source of vitamin B6, which helps build the immune system. They even come in their own neat little container. You have to dirty a container for them. They're portion controlled. You got to peel a banana and eat it. Now, that being said, be careful of banana chips because banana chips oftentimes have sugar on them. Some of you are thinking, I don't even know what a banana chip is. Well, sliced banana is dehydrated, but a lot of times they're loaded with sugar. And how about bananas in a smoothie? That's a good thing to have in the morning. One of the things I offer my daughter, I say, you have to have a fruit or vegetable at every meal. What would you like? Frozen bananas. She ate a whole tub of frozen bananas the other day. I was amazed. But they're nice. They're sweet. They're frozen. Kind of tasted like ice cream a little bit. So don't be fooled by the fact you can eat as many fruits and vegetables as you like. Years ago, I had a meeting with Weight Watchers. And I said, Weight Watchers, I would like to come lecture to your group. I'd like to do some seminars for you to teach people about food addiction, the mind chemistry that goes on with food addiction, and try to work with you guys. Help teach you about digestion, how to stimulate digestive enzymes, absorb more nutrients, pass out more waste products. And the one lady I was talking to, she said, after several times of us talking, she says, can I speak off the record? And I said, yeah. She says, Dr. Joe, we can't use you as a speaker. And I said, why not? They said, we'd probably go out of business. And I thought, how ironic. I mean, and their job is to have people sign up for Weight Watchers. Weight Watchers doesn't make their money when you sign up, by the way. They make a lot of their money when you re-sign. Now, should you ever have to re-sign for Weight Watchers? No. But it's human nature for us to wander, to go back to our addictions. I'm a big supporter of Weight Watchers. I think it's great. I think anything you do to help control your portion control is great. And it used to be that you could have a fruit or a vegetable. And now, if I'm understanding correctly, fruits are what called free food, as much as you'd like. Fruits are loaded with fiber. They clean out your colon. They're loaded with vitamins, minerals, and nutrients. So don't be afraid of fruits. Now, if you're going to have chocolate-covered strawberries, this does not count as a fruit, okay? I talk about water. Scotch and water does not count as water. Well, come on, Doc, it's water. It just has a little scotch in it. Nah, you can't fool me. Chocolate-covered strawberries may not be the best choice if you're going to be looking for a fruit. And people say, too, well, Doc, I heard that if I'm craving something, that means my body needs it. I'm craving meat, so I must need iron. Have you heard that before? Yeah. That would mean that every heroin addict needs heroin. Every fat person needs cookies. Every alcoholic needs booze. It's nice to think that, oh, I'm craving something, I need it. Let me ask you a question. Are plums good for you? Yeah. Watermelon good for you? Yeah. Carrots good for you? Yeah. Anybody have a craving for carrots right now? Anybody jonesing for a plum? No. So don't buy into the fact that cravings are actually just telling you that something is lacking in your body. Some people like to eat meat. It tastes good. I remember eating meat, and you know what? I remember it tasted good. I remember a nice meatball sandwich, really fried really well with a lot of garlic in it, covered with a marinara sauce and a crispy Italian roll with some provolone cheese on it. Yeah. It's good stuff right there. Well, it's good tasting stuff anyway. Is it good for you? No. And plus, as we get older, we can't digest food like we used to. That's something else I want you to understand. Children are able to digest foods. My cousin has twins, and they were perfectly normal twins. And then they both got their vaccines. And within 2 weeks of getting their vaccines, they started showing signs of autism. And then they were diagnosed as autistic. And my cousin, they're about 13 now, nice-looking kids. And my cousin has raised autistic children. 2 of them. Her daughter's fine. Her daughter's about 20, and she's fine. So my cousin has raised autistic children right after their vaccines. Everyone denies it. Oh, it has nothing to do with the vaccines. It has nothing to do with the vaccines. Maybe it doesn't. I say it does. And I'm not willing to take that chance either, by the way. Because we don't know what's in vaccines. Vaccines scare me. And I remember calling the CDC and asking for the ingredients to vaccines, and they wouldn't tell me. Well, certain things are a priority. Manufacturer's priority. I want to know what I'm injecting into myself or my kid. So vaccines scare me. But these kids, they would only eat burned French fries and Cheerios that came in a certain box. If it wasn't in that box, they wouldn't eat it. And yet, they still grew, now to be young men, 13 years old, still autistic. And I remember thinking, how could these kids grow? How could they physically produce cells and muscle to grow living on burnt French fries and Cheerios? Essentially, that was probably 90% of their diet. So a digestive enzymes and the digestive capabilities of a child is much greater than the digestive enzymes and the digestive capabilities of an adult. And as we get older, our digestive capabilities start to fade. You remember being in college, or how about high school, right? Pizza and beer, 4 o'clock in the morning partying, sleep for 2 hours, wake up, go to school, go to work. All right? I'm telling secrets I probably shouldn't, but I was a bad boy in high school. And you did it. Now, how many of you right now, anybody over 30, how many of you would like to drink 2 6-packs of beer, eat a pizza, stay out till 4 o'clock in the morning, and try to go to work in 3 hours? Anybody want to do that? No, you can't. I guess you could if you drank enough coffee, right? With the pesticides and the bromines and theobromines and the caffeines. You can't do it anymore. So as we get older, our bodies start to weaken. We're designed to die. I know that's a hard thing to hear, but we're designed to die. We're not designed to live forever. Nobody lives forever. But what happens is, especially after 26 is your peak. At 26, you're into what's called an anabolic stage. Your body is still building muscle, still building tissue. After 26, you go into what's called a catabolic stage. You start to crash. And so what happens then, as the body starts to crash, you start to wear out. So if you're listening, you're 26, enjoy it, folks. You're at your peak. But then as we get older, we can't reproduce anymore. Can't have babies anymore. Why? The body's weaker. Going into those golden years. And so we want to keep the digestive system as healthy as we can, similar to the way it was with a kid, because you're able to absorb your nutrients and pass out your waste products, and you're able to get a lot more nutrition out of your food. Now imagine if you have a healthy digestive system and you're eating good foods. Well, there's an idea. So my cousin's kids who are growing, not thriving, but growing on burnt French fries and Cheerios were able to grow. What if they had eaten good foods? What if you eat good foods? And what if you eat good foods and keep your digestive system healthy? If you're having issues with your digestion, gas, bloating, diarrhea, constipation, hemorrhoids, these are all signs that something's wrong. And I'd like to be your coach and help coach you through those issues and try to get you well. But above all the coaching I can give you, the number one thing I need to do is check your nervous system. I'm a chiropractor. I'm not a medical doctor. I will not give you drugs. I can't give you drugs. I have doctors that can give you drugs. If I need to refer you out, I will. But I want to see if the cause of your problem is due to the nervous system. And in most cases, there's a nervous system component to it. If not the whole thing, certainly part of it. Then the other components I want to check is your digestive system. I'm amazed how many people suffer with hemorrhoids. Fascinates me. Got hemorrhoids, doc. That's okay. I take creams, I take lotions, I take potions, I take rubs, I take scrubs. I got my own little pads in my purse so I could use them at any time. What if we find out why you have these problems? And if you do, that means your digestive system isn't working as well as it should, which means you're not absorbing your nutrients and passing out your waste products like you're supposed to, which is affecting what? Your nervous system. Why don't you call my office? What's stopping you? 770-427-7387. 770-427-7387. We do the exam, x-rays, consultation, complete report of everything that we found. All of that is only $50. And if further care is necessary, we'll discuss it at that time. We'll bill your insurance if you have insurance. We take Medicare. And like I said, even the cash protocols and plans that we have are very, very, believe me, very affordable. Now, you may be asking yourself a question. Why am I offering all this for only $50? You took time out of your day to listen. We still got more time together, folks. This isn't the end. You took time out of your day to listen, and you're listening because you want to learn something. Because you're excited about getting these little tips that you can implement into your life every day. And we give you take-home tips. This is not, call now and we'll give you all the information after you call. No, I want to give you the information while you're listening. But I need to be with you one-on-one so that we can analyze your specific concerns. Can't do that over the phone. The information I'm giving you is general information. The information we give you when we're together is specific information specifically designed for you and your health issues. I couldn't imagine a better investment. 770-427-7387. Exam, x-rays, consultation, complete report, $50. I'm doing this because you're taking time out of your day, and I appreciate that. We like to show appreciation. When you come to my food demos, and I hope you do, and I'm surprised a lot of you haven't come yet. A lot of you have, but we need more of you to come. We give out door prizes and goodies. We don't give away cheap little door prizes like a pen or something like that. There's one company called Pamela's. They give us mixes for breads, for cookies, for cakes. We give out whole packages of the mixes. Spatulas, measuring cups. We give out samples, toothpaste, food. We give out some serious giveaways at our lectures, especially at the food demos. And why do we do that? Because I like to promote companies that are good. There's a company called Citrus Solutions. Their website is called The Citrus Man, thecitrusman.com. Great folks. They do a good job cleaning carpets. If you need your carpets cleaned, I recommend these people. Why? They do a good job. Their phone number is 770-861-4595, thecitrusman.com. They do it naturally, they do it without chemicals, and they do a great job. Life Grocery. Life Grocery does a great job for what they do. The prices are wonderful. They have the food bar. They have the cafe right there. They have takeaway food, so you can grab and go. Great place. Return to Eden. Another great place. I like to promote people that are promoting the lifestyle that I promote. A lot of promotes in there, wasn't there? And I want to dispel the myths. You have to laugh, right? You go into a grocery store, you say, where's your health food section? Over there. Well, what's the rest of the store then? Interesting question. Something to think about. Another thing I want to cover real quick. Cooking vegetables destroys their vitamin content. Well, the answer to that one is yes and no. Because everybody talks about tomatoes. If you cook tomatoes, you have more lycopene. And lycopene is released when you cook the tomatoes, and it's a good antioxidant, and it helps with prostate problems. I agree with that. But when you cook it, you also destroy some of the nutrients. So I prefer you eat something raw at every meal. I prefer you eat the whole meal raw if you could. And I eat about 80% of my diet raw. I have a salad every day. I always put apple cider vinegar, which is going to stimulate my digestive enzymes. You've heard me talk about that before. But if you're going to cook your vegetables, don't cook them to death. That's my mother's phrase. Don't cook it to death. Have some crunch in there. Steam it, roast it, broil it. Okay, but still have some crunch, still have some texture to it, and you're going to get a lot more nutrients out of your vegetables as well. But cooked broccoli is still a whole lot better than a cheeseburger. Raw broccoli is better than cooked broccoli. A salad is great. Cooked potatoes is okay. Still better than cheesecake. You get it? So you have to decide, is this food going to nourish my body or is it going to hamper my health? And if the food's going to nourish your body, I want you to eat. If it's going to hamper your health, is it worth it? Is it worth hampering your health over? And if the answer is yes, then go ahead and do it. But chances are the answer is not going to be yes. But if you're listening today, obviously you are, you're listening because you want to learn about health and you want to learn how to take care of yourself. And I want to teach you how to do that. So why don't you call my office right now, 770-427-7387. Call right now. We can only take the first 10 callers because we don't want to overbook our patients. And I know I sound repetitive, but you know what, folks? People tune into the show at all different times. They're driving your car. You drive in your car, you click it on. Hey, who's this guy? I want to listen to this guy. I do it. I flip through my stations. I'm a station flipper. I admit it. But when I hear somebody that's giving me good information, for whatever that information is, I want to listen because it's going to make me a better person. And if I'm a better person, I'm able to help my staff, my patients, my family, my friends. It's a lot more fun to be healthy than it is to be sick. It's a lot more fun to not have pain than it is to have pain. And we can help you get over these things. You're obviously listening because you want to get well. So call my office, 770-427-7387. We're open late every night. We're open on Saturdays. Our office is in Marietta, which is in Georgia if you're listening out of state. And I have people come from out of state. We have hotels around here, folks. You can stay. You're allowed. And I'd love to sit down with you one-on-one and answer those questions that you have. And find out if the nervous system is affecting your health in an adverse way. By that I mean a pinched nerve. And if you have a pinched nerve, what can we do to unpinch those nerves? And then we check your digestive system. We show you how to stimulate your adrenal glands using acupuncture points without needles. And we show you some of these points that have been shown to kick in your adrenal glands. And we show you some other things that you can do to take care of yourself. My goal with you is not to have you rely on me for everything. My goal is to teach you to be independent and healthy. So go ahead, pick up the phone. I'll wait. Go ahead. Got it? Ready for the number? 770-427-7387. My website is drjoeesposito.com. It's drjoeesposito.com. There you can get our lectures. You can get my radio shows. I have them archived. We have explanation on how you can get the archived radio shows. I have articles there. Folks, I want to naturally get you well and keep you well. 770-427-7387. I'm Dr. Joe Esposito. Talk to you next week.